Are you wanting to make a bright and bold quilt but don't quite know where to start? I'm going to show you how. Keep watching. Hi, it's Fran Morgan with Fabric Café, and you know that I love bright, bold quilts, and you're wanting to do one too. They're so much fun, but there's a balance. How do you make it gorgeous without it just being overly garish? Well, today we're going to step through some great tips on how to do that. So let's jump in and look at our first quilt. So our first quilt is Boomerang, and this quilt is really a lot of fun. It's actually one of our newer patterns here at Fabric Café, and it has this fun little twist right here on this block with a little half square triangle, and we have some really fun colors. I have this fabric, so let's put it on the table and check it out. Okay, so our Boomerang quilt here, we have it on the table, and as you can see, this is darling. This fabric is so much fun. It has so many bright colors in it, and it's going to be great to work with. So what we've done here is we've used this great pink as our focus fabric. Now that's going here in this area and every other block, as well as on the border. Now I'm going to just jump over really quick. Let's look at our number 3 fabric. Our number 3 fabric is the same print as our number 1, so it's called what we refer to as a double focus. That is going to be in our alternate block here. Now the key that's making this work, and this is our first tip here, is we have a repetitive pattern and we have a number 2 fabric that is very simple. Now what's great is our number 2, our background here, it kind of picks up the circular feel of our number 1 and number 3, but it's simple. It doesn't have all the bold color. So what happens is all of our great bold color is popping off, and the number 2 is helping you really see it. So that keeps this fun without it being overwhelming, which is exactly what we're trying to do. So this is a absolutely great pattern, really lots of fun. So let's get the kit information here. Pocketful of Sunshine. Oh, that's such a good name, and it describes this quilt perfectly. The number is 8023306, and the pattern is Boomerang. So our next fun quilt is Dash. Now this is absolutely one of our go-to patterns at Fabric Café because it is quick to put together, and once again, you can use a double focus on this. So let's put this on the table, and we've got some really great fabric for you. Let's go check it out. So we have our Dash quilt on the table here, and as we were mentioning before, this is another double focus quilt. So we really love it whenever we can put 2 really bright, bold fabrics in a quilt pattern and make it work really well. So I have another example as well here. So we have this great focus fabric here. This fabric is so much fun. It looks like someone has taken their art supplies and painted directly on this fabric, and they took a pen and outlined it. It is so cool. It is a big, bold, wonderful print that is going to work beautifully in our focus position where the pink is here, and it is just spectacular. Now we have put as our number 2 this great texture. Now, even though this has a lot of depth of texture in it, the color is perfect with this. It's going to go in the background everywhere you see the dot here, and that is going to bring out all the blues. Now, let's note, you see how there's a background blue here, and then this is blue? That's one of the keys to making your bold print work, is look at your background color and repeat that. Now, here's our number 3. Now, unlike the last pattern that we looked at where the double focus was the same print in 2 different colorways, we actually have a different print as our secondary focus in our number 3 position, which is where the green is. But the reason why this works is because the coloring is all the same. So that coloring is our unifying factor here, which works really great. Once again, we have our blue in here. So the blue for the number 2 is going to work really well as our background and give our eye that place to rest. Because let's face it, when you're working with those bold, bright prints like this, we need that resting spot. It almost acts like the frame for the picture, so those bold prints really come out and shine. And that's really what we want to focus on. Now, I have a great image on the screen for you. As you can see there, how well this is going to play. What a great fun quilt. Absolutely love it, and think that it just works so well. It's almost as if this double focus, you have to take a second glance to say, oh, that's not the same fabric. That's fantastic. So it works so well. All right, now another little tip for you If you have not gone on our website, fabriccafe.com, to look at our free goodies, you should do that because we have a great tip sheet on 10 patterns that you can use double focus fabrics with. So this would be really handy if you have some of those bold prints like here to pick out an extra pattern as well. So it works really well. That's totally free for you on our website on our free goodies tab. All right, let's get the kit information for you on this one. It is called Garden Art. The number is 8023301. The pattern is Dash from our Easy Peasy book. So our next pattern is Town Square. And once again, these are always go-to patterns for us, and we just love this one as well. Now this one is very, very interesting. We have a nice big block here that is bordered with these two colors. So our frame is being created, but we have a two-color frame, which is very cool. And I have some great fabric, so let's check it out. Okay, so we have a great bold fabric here that is just so much fun. It kind of has that mod look, which is so popular right now. With all of these great colors, it's just this abstract movement that's going all over the place, which is so much fun. Love this. Now, lots of color in this, lots of boldness. So we are going to be putting our bold fabric here in the focus position. That is this big block here. Then we're going to surround it with our fabric 2 and 3. So the key to make this work, and this is our next tip, is to make sure that when you have a bold fabric like this, put 2 simpler prints with it. So in this case, we have pulled out our pink for our number 2, which is the same pink that's in our focus. It will go everywhere the green is. And then we have this beautiful jade that also matches our focus fabric that's going where the number 3 is. So always keep that in mind when you're working with really bold prints. You want at least 1 and sometimes 2 simpler fabrics to really highlight that bold print and to keep your quilt really successful in the end and not going overboard with the bold color. So this is a fantastic one. I have a great image on the screen that you can look at, and you can see how well that plays together and how the 2 supporting cast members there, fabric 2 and 3, really helped the superstar shine. So it worked out really well. So the kit information on this one, our number is 8023063. It is Disco Vibes. The pattern is Town Square from the Easy Peasy book. Okay, so we have left our Town Square quilt here on the table because I want to show you a second thing about bold prints. Now this quilt is made with a beautiful ombre fabric, and it is right here in our focus position, and we have it here as well. Now this ombre has all these beautiful flowers and bumblebees and all of this great color in it, and we're going to put up an image on the screen for you to see. You can see how the ombre changes from one color, the yellows and oranges, all the way to the blues and purples. Absolutely gorgeous. Now this is a perfect pattern to use a really bold ombre like this one, because what we can do is, once again, we can frame it with 2 additional colors that are a little quieter, that supporting cast, like I mentioned before, to really highlight our superstar, the ombre, which this one is phenomenally gorgeous. Now when you're picking your fabric 2 and 3, just look at your ombre, choose your favorite colors. We chose our green and blue. The green because it's fresh and, you know, like the garden is, just like all of the grass and the flower leaves, and our blue, the beautiful sky. So we have that as our 2 choices. So our number 2, as you can see here, is framing our ombre beautifully. And then our blue, which is one of the darker shades in our ombre, and you can see that kind of here in this block because of course it's an ombre, it's changing colors, but you can see how beautifully it frames it and how well it coordinates in our number 3 position. So take your favorite colors from your bold print, make those your 2 supporting cast roll members there, and really highlight a beautiful, beautiful ombre, which makes up beautifully in our quilts, by the way, the 3-yard quilts. Love it. All right, let's get the kit information for you on this one. It is called Wild Blossoms. The number is 8023238. Once again, it is the Town Square pattern from the Easy Peasy book. So our next pattern that we're going to be using is chain reaction. This is one of my favorites lately. You know, you always have those patterns that you love when you first do them, and then you kind of forget about them, and then you're going through your stash and your patterns and you go, ooh, let me try this one. And I've been doing that lately with chain reaction. It is such a fun quilt pattern, and it is so versatile. So I'm going to put it on the table, and let's look at this really cool fabric we've chosen. All right, so we have our chain reaction on the table, and we have some really great fabric. Now you're probably looking at our focus fabric going, that's not a bold fabric, but we've done a little twist for you that I want to share. We have actually put this great pink in the #1 position so that our #2 fabric can be the star in this case. So we've kind of done that, you know, I'm a quilt rebel, you know I like to do that, and this one works really well for this. So the pink is our focus, and it's going to go everywhere the green is on this quilt. Now our #2, we have pulled in another ombre. You can see a little piece of it here, but we're going to show an image on the screen for you now so that you can see the full piece of fabric, selvage to selvage, and see how gorgeous that ombre is. And it kind of looks like another one of those that looks like it's hand painted. It's kind of a watercolor look, and the colors are gorgeous. Now, I want to mention too, if you've never worked with ombre or would like to see some tips on working with ombres, be sure and check out our video. We'll link it right up here so that you can learn how we've worked with these fabrics in our 3-yard quilts. And we talk about positioning and the best way to use them. It's really got a lot of tips, so be sure and check that out. So this is our #2 fabric. We've put it in that #2 place so that it can have this larger position here. And it looks great in this, and I've got an image, so just hang on. So we're going to show you that. Then we're going to take our #3 fabric, gorgeous kind of a purpley pink here. That is going to go everywhere the purple is here to help frame our ombre. Now, I want you to take notice. Once again, I have a gorgeous bold fabric, star of the show. I have a nice tone-on-tone little punch. This color is pulled from our ombre, and then our #1, once again, nice kind of texture fabric that is a color that we have pulled out of our ombre so that our ombre, being our bold fabric, is going to get the entire show. These are just the supporting cast to frame that. Looks amazing. And this is, of course, how you can use a bold fabric and really keep the focus on where it needs to go. All right, I promised you an image. Let's look at that. So we have this, and oh my goodness, this is amazing. I love how the pinks and purples pull out all of the pinks in our #2 fabric, which is acting kind of as a focus. And you can see just how beautiful it turned out, and it looks like you're looking through lattice work at a beautiful Japanese garden or something like that. It's really pretty. Really love working with ombres. Be sure and check out that video too. All right, let's look at our kit information. Our kit number is 8023302. It is Color Illusion. The Chain Reaction is the name of the pattern, and that pattern is from our Modern Views book. So our next pattern that we're looking at for our bold fabrics is City Lights. Now this is great because we have a great block here of good size that we can put that bold fabric in. Then we can have a secondary layer of fun fabric that will kind of help draw our eye and give the quilt some movement. So I have some absolutely phenomenal fabric for you. Let's go check it out. All right, so we have City Lights on the table and some gorgeous fabric. And you know, this is the perfect quilt for this because, you know, we live in Tyler, Texas, you know that. And if we're gonna go see the symphony or to go to see something really special musically or entertainment, you have to go to the city in order to do that. And we have these amazing, brightly, beautifully colored instruments here on a black background that really pops. Now, I want to just point something out, which is very interesting. When these fabric designers do these kind of fabrics and they have all of these bold colors on there like that, take note that they have a background that's very plain. It's kind of the same principle we're using with our 3-yard quilts, where they're putting a bold item on top of a more simple background. So it's the same principle, and here is no exception. So we have our bold, beautiful instruments here For our focus fabric, it's our number 1 position. It goes in this larger block here. Then we have our number 2 with this great blue. Now this blue is picked up, as you can see, in this like little section here, kind of in the guitars, lots of places. Now it is a texture, but it's a very simple texture that just gives you interest without being boring. That's going to go everywhere the white is. Okay, now our number 3. Now we're kind of changing up our rule just a little bit. So this is another tip. We have a large scale bold fabric for our number 1. We have a very simple texture as our number 2. So here's our number 3. Same black background as our number 1, same color with all the music notes with some great movement here, but the scale is much smaller and we're repeating the colors in this. This number 3 fabric goes in our little squares here and on our border. It's not competing with our focus fabric. It's just blending and enhancing because of the scale difference and the fact that, once again, we have a black background here, and the colors are consistent throughout. So it's going to work beautifully and give you a bold, brilliant quilt without being overly garish. So let's take a look at that image. We've got that on the screen for you. And as you can see, it is striking. Bold colors, brilliant colors. But it is just perfectly situated so that it works so well and really will be the star of your home or someone else's home. So be sure and go check this out. Let me give you the kit information so that you can do that. It is called Jazz Fusion, the number 8023300. The pattern is City Lights from our Fast and Fun book. So if you have a bright, bold fabric in your stash, I encourage you, give it a shot, try it out, and follow the tips that we have here today. Go ahead and pick your bold fabric and the supporting cast appropriately. It's going to be perfect. And if you make one, I would love to see it. Be sure and share on our social media, Facebook, and give us an image. We'd love to see that. It's Fran Morgan. Thanks so much. Happy quilting.